Hey, good morning, everybody. This is David Pendleton, and this is going to be our pro walkthrough for the Grand Forest Tournament. I apologize getting this out a day late. I normally like to have these out on Tuesdays, but I actually didn't play any pro on Monday. I just didn't have time. I played my rookie, got caught up with a lot of real work stuff, and work has just been insanely busy, as it normally is this time of the year for me. So I appreciate everybody being patient, but as usual, I don't really release a video until I know that I have enough good content that's going to take you to the top, as long as we're able to hit perfect balls and duplicate these, which we are. This is going to be a tournament that I'm really excited about because it has Tour 8 holes in it, which I'm a really good Tour 8 player. And it also has, the holes with the trees in it, which was in the Redwood Cup. And I took gold in the Redwood Cup. So I'm very familiar with this course already. Some of the notes from my other video and tournament that I took gold in are coming in huge on this tournament. So I'm excited to share that with everybody. We shot a minus 15 yesterday. It's a great place to start. I do know that it's probably going to take at least a minus 32, minus 33 to win this tournament. At least that's what I think. So this is a good starting point for us because there's a couple holes that I'm really close on that I think that we'll get dialed in and we'll end up, pumping up this score. But there's the scorecard. So we got off to a very fast start. Hopefully we can continue to duplicate that, which I think we can. And let's go ahead and just hop right into the replays. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. I mean, it really helps me out. And, the benefit of you subscribing is through the next round, once I start to get consistent hole-in-ones, I will release another video on a step-by-step instructions just on the par threes. And I do believe this is a tournament that we will be able to get hole-in-ones on all the par threes. So stay tuned for that. Please hit the like button, everybody. I mean, it takes you a half of a second to just hit the like button. It does mean a lot to me. And here we go. Let's go ahead and hop into this stuff. So let me find my pro notes. Okay. Hole number one, very exciting because, I'm the type of player that sometimes just likes to go, full top spin and just let a ball rip. That is exactly what we're doing on this hole. I'm not using any elevation on this particular shot. Basically, this is a landing position shot. So I'm just finding one landing spot that is going to be consistent no matter what the wind is. And I'm just letting this ball rip, and I'm trying to get it as far down towards the green as possible. And you'll see that's pretty easy to do. So this is my landing spot. And the reason that I'm choosing this spot is because we're getting tailwind mixed with crosswind to the right. So really, I'm getting my target pretty close to the base of this tree. And I don't need to adjust for elevation or anything like that. I just know that as long as I hit a perfect ball or a great right, the wind is going to push me right onto this fairway. So you see here, I'm not leaving much room between my ball guideline and the base of that tree. I'm using a lot of overpower with about 3/4 of a ball of curl to the right. And the reason I'm using that right curl is just to make sure that I avoid this bunker that's over here on the left-hand side. And obviously with a perfect ball or a great left, we would have been a little bit closer to that bunker. So this is a great place to be at. I'll take this shot all day to start this tournament off with an extra eagle. And really what I would suggest is just use your most powerful club combined with your best topspin. So, my accounts have an extra mile 9. This one, I just got the Thor's Hammer 6, which is pretty exciting. So this has, great power combined with great topspin. But same thing, here's 2 clubs. You pick whatever you want. This works with an APOC 5 as well. I've tested that out. I just like this shot better. So you see here, we get good bounces. I would have loved to hit the fairway and bounce. But either way, we roll out of the rough right onto the fairway, and this is even closer than the other one. So this would be a very consistent shot for everybody to copy, and that's how you're going to start off this tournament, getting an eagle. And I do think a lot of people will eagle this hole. I don't think it's going to be as consistent for a lot of players as you might think it is. So getting this one is going to be a great leg up on the competition. And then, of course, when we're down here, just so everybody knows, I'm playing this shot 10%. medium distance of an end bringer. And pretty much, you know, I've got this club figured out thanks to a great video on YouTube with the end bringer rule. So, you know, either way, I know that as long as I put max top spin on this shot and I'm lined up towards the hole and I adjust properly, this ball is going to drop right into the cup. So, easy way to start the tournament off. That's exciting. Now, hole number 2, I'll talk to everybody about here for a second because this is going to be a little bit more technical of a shot because, you know, we're using 10% elevation and we're playing this mid-distance -1. So what do I mean by that? So here, I'll show you what I mean. So I've got my quarterback out, right? And I'm using a power 3 ball at 10%. So the wind is 5.7 miles an hour. So in this particular situation, I'm going to adjust this 5.5 rings because I'm playing medium distance, which shows 5.6, but I'm taking 0.1 off of that, and that's getting me very accurate. Took me a couple tries at this hole to figure out exactly what to do, but this is playing really consistent now. The nice part about this is the spin is going to be the same no matter your wind strength. So on the wind, we're going to be using 3.3 bars of backspin and 2 bars of right side spin. If you do more than 3.3, like if you accidentally do 3.5, you could come up short depending on wind strength. So if you get a lighter wind, you may not get that extra push that we need to get the ball into the hole. So there's a couple things we're going to do on this shot to get this hole in one. First of all, you need the right club, the quarterback. And here you'll see the spin adjustment. So right there is about what you want your spin to be. And it should be exactly 2 right. Now from here, we want to put our yellow ring down on the rough line area. Now, the thing with this shot, though, is when the ball hits the rough, okay, it kicks to the right-hand part of the green. So you want to make sure that you line this up on the left side of the cup. And right now here, you'll see I'm dead center, but I was still working on this shot. And then you pull at 10% elevation, mid-distance, -0.1. And it's important that you favor an 11:59 pull angle. So take a look at the wind as I start to adjust these rings here. Notice how it flickers slightly to 11:59. So it goes north and north-left. That's 11:59. And now we are adjusting from a lower point on the rough to a higher point. And this is where a lot of people get confused, and this is where a lot of people end up missing the rough and hitting the green. So when you're done pulling for your rings, you need to move the camera around, and then you need to pull back 1 full ring. So you're going to pull another ring towards you. I know that is a lot to remember, but sometimes that's what it takes, you know, to win a tournament. And you see there, I came in just slightly on the right-hand side of the cup, but good speed. So, you know, if you're jotting things down, if you're taking notes, which I highly suggest, here's all you need to know on hole number 2. Quarterback, kingmaker, 10% medium distance, -0.1. So if your app tells you to play 5.5 rings, you're going to play at 5.4 rings. Then you need to make sure that you do an 11:59 pull angle just slightly. It's not a hard 11:59, just favor 11:59. Aim on the left side of the pin and then pull back 1 ring. All right, this is going to take us to hole number 3. Now, hole number 3, I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get the albatross on because this hole plays the exact same way it did the last time we had this hole in a tournament, to whereas there is a little funnel on the back part of this green that lines us up for an albatross pretty good. But we're going to be playing with a quarterback again, and that's going to be a common theme in this tournament. And really, I'm just putting my yellow ring on the rough line. I'm using 3 bars of left side spin combined with 1 bar of top spin. And, a little bit of left curl. And this is just to keep us on the left-hand side of the fairway here. So with this particular drive, I'm already pushing the boundaries on getting too close to the rough. But the higher we can get on this fairway, the better it's going to be to find this funnel on the second shot. So if you have a power 4 ball, wind resistance 3, I would highly suggest you use that ball on this hole, because it's going to give you a big advantage finding this funnel on the second shot. So I have not hit the albatross with the Kingmaker yet, and it's just because I'm not getting far enough up on this second shot to find the funnel. So I will be switching to a power 4 wind resistance 3 ball in the next rounds. But if you don't have that ball, here's what you need to know. You're going to play this second shot minus 25% elevation, and you want to use top spin combined with a little bit of left spin until you find... It's hard to explain, but you see my ball guideline? You see how it has that little tail coming back? That's what you're looking for. But the thing is, you want your ball guideline to be just to the left part of the pin, and I'm really not getting in the right position because I'm just too short on my drive. And that tail right there, that's actually too much. That's not what we want it to look like. We want it to be just slightly of a tail down, which is how we were playing it in the last tournament. But you'll see how close we get anyways. I mean, we're dead pin, and that's not even finding the funnel. So we're close on this hole, and here's another shot, but I'm in the same area. So I'm just not... We really want our target here to be higher up on this hole to where I don't have to use as much top spin and left spin. But that little tail that I have on it right now, that's what we're looking for. That's the sweet spot for this hole. And you see here, we fire off another perfect ball. And we come in on the right-hand side of the cup, which is not what we want. It still comes close to the albatross, but we want to be coming in left-hand side. So, that hole's a work in progress. But if you're following me and you understand what I'm saying, you will get the albatross on this hole. It's just a power 4 ball is going to give you a way bigger advantage on that second shot. But obviously, as you can see, it's not necessary. We can still pick up the albatross with the Kingmaker without using a money ball. So, all right, hole number 4 is a hole I've been working on, and I've hit a lot of perfect balls. So this one, I hope you're paying attention anyways, but you really need to pay attention to this particular hole and take a look at how I came across, dialing in a hole-in-one. So I automatically knew I was going to start with full right spin because, again, this hole has a funnel on the back slope that puts us into a nice position to get close to a hole-in-one. And this is pretty much how I always played this hole whenever I used to grind Tour 8. So this is my first crack at the hole, and it's nice to get this close, because obviously all I have to do is make a little bit of an adjustment, and I'm going to be really close to getting the hole-in-one. But I want to show you one thing on this real quick, because this is going to be where details really matter to try to duplicate this, because this is a hole that not a lot of people will get a hole-in-one on. But regardless, this is the spin we're going to use every time. 4 back spin and 3 bars of right side spin. I am playing this 1 for 1, so my wind is 5.5. That means we're going to pull 5.5 rings. Now this is the most important part to take a look at. Notice my overpower. So I bring my ball down until it's halfway into the bottom adjustment target, and then I bring on the curl. So notice the curl here. My ball is still in the adjustment target area. And what happens is it comes down and it misses just to the left-hand side of the hole. So theoretically, that means if I just add a little bit more curl, then that should even that shot out. So that's what I tried to do on my second attempt at the hole. So you can see here I'm putting my landing spot the exact same. The spin is the same. Really, that's just the white ring at the tree and the blue line at the rough line. That's always been a great starting point for this hole. Again, I'm playing the rings 1 for 1. So this is a 5.4 ring adjustment because the wind is 5.4 miles an hour. Now you'll notice here I do the same thing with the overpower, but this time I add curl until the left-hand part of my ball is outside the adjustment window, touching the right-hand part of the adjustment target. Now, of course, it's important that I hit perfect. But you'll see here with adding the more curl, it kicks me higher up onto the right-hand side of this funnel, and that puts me dead center in the middle of the hole for a hole-in-one. So, that's a really good shot right there. That's going to be one that a lot of people won't get. So there's your landing area. There's a screenshot of it. And then there is a screenshot of what the curl and overpower should look like. Now we go into hole number 5, in which we're using another quarterback again. And really here my landing spot is just putting my white ring up on this rough line, kind of tucked into the corner there. No elevation. This is a very simple drive. So that's pretty straightforward. This is the shot that I'm really excited about because I think we're going to get an albatross on this hole. So this is attempt number 1. You see the spin adjustment. And at this point, like I always do on my first shots, I am just aiming directly at the hole. And because we're getting headwind, I obviously have my ball guideline going through the pin and past the cup. Perfect ball. And, it doesn't really put us close to the cup. We miss it by about half of a green square. So, my second time trying to hit this shot, and I'm playing this one at absolutely minimum distance, as you can see, with 20% elevation. So this time I try to offset, but I didn't offset correctly. So look at my offset here. I am 1 full green square to the right of the cup. I really should have done this half of a green square because I missed by half of a green square on my first attempt. This was just a mental error on my part. I just messed up where I wanted to test my offset at. But you can see where this ball lands. And we like the speed. So we miss it by, a quarter of a green square to the right. So really, everybody, if you're playing today or you're playing before me tomorrow, we want to use the exact same spin as I did, but I want you to just put your ball guideline, about a half of a green square to the right of the pin, and that ball should drop for a hole-in-one. If it doesn't, we're going to be super close. And you're going to be able to just make minor tweaks for the final round to get an albatross on this hole. I don't normally count on albatrosses, but I'm definitely counting on getting this one at least once to separate ourselves in the standings. Okay, now this account, I don't have any berserkers on, so I forgot to play my golden shot. So this ball is the same stat ball as a berserker. This is just a Power 5 Wind 1 ball. The only difference this ball has over a berserker is it has more side spin, but don't worry about that because we're not using the side spin anyways. This is just, you want to play this one with a berserker. Now, We're using a quarterback at mid distance of our club, 20% elevation. I'm using 4 bars of top spin with 2 bars of right side spin. And I would say the most important thing for you to do, and this is just like the last tournament, is notice how my second bounce is in the rough. That is on purpose because that's going to slow our ball down once we go to the, once we hit the rough and roll into the fairway. Again, depending on your wind strength, if that second bounce does not hit the rough, if it hits the fairway, you could roll into the top part of that rough there. But the nice part is we don't need a whole lot of distance on this drive because it sets us up nicely for an albatross opportunity. So we're playing this one 20% at max distance of our club. We're getting almost 8 mile per hour tailwind and crosswind. So I know I need to leave my ball guideline pretty short when it comes to this hole. As you can see here, I'm really just applying back spin and left spin until I'm aiming pretty much straight forward at the cup. And again, I'm leaving the ball guideline about 2 green squares short because I know we're going to get a pretty good push whenever this ball touches down. Now, we call this lucky, we call this a fluke, I don't know. But the ball, that's dead center for an albatross. So, obviously we'll take that. I only hit this shot once with a perfect ball. The other time I missed it barely to the right-hand side of the cup, so it just burned the right edge. So the nice part is I know this is going to be close, and this may just be a random albatross that we pick up throughout the tournament. All right, so now we're going to play hole number 7. Hole number 7 is also one that's going to be there's a funnel here too, which is why I thought we could really get a hole-in-one on all of the par 3s in this tournament. This one we're playing with the Goliath and a Kingmaker. We're playing 10% max distance of our club, and again, we need to favor an 1159 pull angle on this. But there's a sticky spot that we're looking for on the green. So notice how when I move my club around, that the ball guideline, it kind of stays in the same spot. And I'm trying to find that spot. But really what I want to be is, you see this, so look at my ball guideline. Notice the row that I'm in. I'm in the dark green row. That's where I want to be. But I really want my ball guideline to be just right on it, just like that. The only problem is that I moved it after that. I found the spot, then I moved it. And then I started to run out of time. So you want your ball guideline to be very close to being right on the seam of the dark green. And then apply your spin. And your spin, you're using just a little bit of backspin, like 0.2, 0.3 bars. With 2 bars of right side spin. You could play a rough bump on this hole. I just don't like the rough bump near as much as I like this shot. And we come in pretty close. The speed is good. The only reason that I missed this is because I just lined up too far to the left on that dark green squares. So here we tried it again. And I'm still just too far to the left. I just want to be right on that dark green row. And it's a little hard to find sometimes. But you see, that's a lot better right there. And then you apply your spin. So like I said, it's a little bit of backspin combined with almost 2 bars of right side spin. Favoring that 1159 pull angle. And you see we still come up, just a little bit short into the left-hand side. So either way, that one's pretty close. That one I'm confident that I'll end up getting. So again, subscribe and stay tuned for an update. Now that's going to bring us into hole number 8. Now hole number 8, I'm excited about because this is going to be an automatic eagle for us. This is, I have videos up on YouTube, and I have had for a very long time on this particular hole, showing people how to dominate it when you come across it on tour number 8. Hey, I hope you guys are finding this helpful. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe and please hit the like button. And if you're one of those folks who is able to, donate to my channel and support the efforts and time that I put into this, that's also much appreciated. And I want to give a thank you, to some of the folks who have done that the last tournament. That does go a long way for me. And if you're able to do that, that is awesome. You can find a link to my PayPal in the comments section of the video. And if you don't have a PayPal, but you still want to support me in some way, just leave me a comment. We'll talk and we'll figure out a way. But, I just want to say thank you to everybody who supports me week in and week out. Whether you donate or not, I just appreciate everybody. I love reading the comments. I respond to as many people as possible. And I know these videos are doing good work for a lot of you because you're sending me messages on Facebook showing me that you got gold, you got second place, you got third place, you got your first ever top 10. We're just going to keep building together. So hole number 8 is going to be so easy, everybody. Here's all you have to do. You just cannot make one crucial mistake, and it's always been this way. When you have tailwind on this hole, you need to use, well, first of all, you're always going to use a big topper. You're always going to use a full top spin. You're always going to use a navigator, okay? Even if you're playing this on tour 8, navigator only, full top spin, 1 bar of left side spin. You're going to position your landing spot right here underneath this bunker, but what you're really paying attention to is your ball guideline. Your ball guideline down here through the rough onto the fairway. When you have tailwind like we do in this tournament, you need to leave the end of your ball guideline either in the last part of the rough or just barely touching the fairway down there. If you leave too much of your ball guideline on the fairway, you are going to fly past this hole pretty much every single time unless you get lucky. So let me show you the right way to do it, which is right here. That's the right way to do it. The ball guideline is just barely on the fairway. Pull at 0%, pulling at max distance of our club. Now, I hit a great shot here, which is normally pretty deadly on this hole, but, it worked out okay. So call that getting lucky. You really need to hit a perfect ball with a big topper, so I feel very fortunate that that shot worked out that way. But let me show you how this shot can go wrong. Look at the wind. Now we're at 6.2 miles an hour. That is too much. So look at how much of the ball guideline I left on the fairway. That is way too much. That top spin, even when you hit a perfect ball like I did here, is going to fly you past the green. Now, I did this on purpose. I know how to play this hole every time. I just wanted to waste a shot just to show everybody who's watching what can happen if you leave too much of the ball guideline on the fairway. So, you are better off to really leave the tip of that ball guideline in the rough and just let the ball roll out for a very simple shot to the wedge. You will see a lot of opponents mess this shot up. You'll see people try to hook the ball around the trees. Very rarely ever works out. This is the only way to play this hole. 100% consistent and pick up the eagle. But just make sure, and I keep stressing it, that the end of that ball guideline has to be at the very edge of the rough so you roll onto the fairway. All right, last hole, hole number 9. And, no joke, I absolutely hate this hole. This hole in the Redwood tournament, or whatever it was called, almost cost me a gold because I messed it up on the front 9, and on the back 9, I got very lucky, and I chipped out of the rough to save my eagle to get a gold. But regardless, I'm not messing around with the hole this time. Last time I was using a Kingmaker. This time I'm using a Berserker. And I just want the power on the second shot so I don't have to worry about playing with the big dog again. But there's what we're doing. So we're going to be using 20% elevation, another quarterback, Berserker. I'm just lining up with my blue ring on the left-hand side of the rough. It's a pretty straightforward drive. You know, we just hop over here, leaving ourselves with plenty of room so we don't roll into the rough past the fairway. Second shot, 0%, max distance of the sniper. I like this because now I just get to roll into the rough right onto the green. You know, last time, you know, I was using a big dog or something like that, and the ball guideline was just terrible, and I just couldn't find a good, consistent shot. You know, here I was just trying to see if I had any way to do like a secondary rough bump shot, and I didn't. You know, if you get more distance on your drive, you might be able to. But either way, you know, on this particular hole, I'm not messing around with it. It already almost got me once, so I'm just taking it as the eagle and moving on. So that's it. You know, you see we get a good roll here. You know, we still come close to the pin, but that's a really good way to play this one. I hope you guys all found this helpful. Please subscribe. Please hit the like